I actually wanted to start out with some Passport Bro content. You guys know that I support those brothers wholeheartedly. And this actually goes into the topics that we're going to discuss. And I reworked some things after I was listening to Jay Curve's most recent live stream. And he had a great conversation with a young man named The Real Deal. And it was based off of the 6 video that I published yesterday. And what the caller said basically confirmed what I thought in regards to black men and sometimes what we're afraid to admit on social media, especially when it involves relationships.
Respond to something that you was playing on Mediumman's channel. Well, shout out to him anyway and what he does with a lot of the facts that he brings. I agree with him in terms of getting in shape, and you know, appearance does matter, clothing that you wear, and so on and so forth. But this is my issue with it, at least when it comes to over here in America anyway, for those who want to horse around with the USA. Okay, let's say you do all of that stuff, right, to go outside, deal with women that's hiding how they look because the hair is not real, the eyelashes is not real. So basically, well, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it in a nutshell. They kind of know that they ugly underneath all the makeup, but you supposed to be super sexy to come holler at them. And then once you come holler at them, the most you gonna get, if you get that, is what, some sex out the deal? Because you sure as hell ain't about to get no legit marriage. You're not about to get no real legitimate relationship out of it for real. Not nothing that's long lasting and beneficial to you.
I've mentioned this multiple times, you know, in regards to black men actually caring about the women in these spaces, because I don't see the point of black men going on every panel show and making content about black women if you didn't care about black women and the image that they're portraying, and also the type of the caliber of women that the majority of black men are subject to dating. So basically what he was saying, he was like, yeah, Mediumman is telling you guys, you know, hey, you got to get your sexiness up. You got to get the gym, get your money up. And that could potentially land you some sexual encounters with these types of women. However, that doesn't guarantee that you will actually get a woman who is marriage material, who is wife material. If you are in these spaces and you're critiquing black women based off the fact that you want them to be better, so you guys can have a better pool of marriage material black women, then be honest about that. Because my thought process was this: I don't think men are complaining about being able to get sex, especially if you meet all the requirements. Most of the men in these spaces are complaining about there not being enough marriage material women. And that's where I want black men to be more honest. When you start to critique black women and the behaviors that you see on social media, make sure that you admit or acknowledge the fact that, hey, I wouldn't be saying this if I didn't care. Because we've already talked about the 5 to 10% rule. All black men aren't going to be able to become passport bros. And the majority of them are going to have to stay in the States and date within their community. Because based off of the marriage numbers, most black men don't want to marry other races of women. Even though we marry interracially at a higher rate than black women, the majority of black men are married to black women. So now those men who are staying, they're going to have to date and or marry black women. So in order to do that, you need some things to change. And basically what Real Deal was saying was like, hey, man, this may work in the short term, but anything serious in regards to a relationship, it may not be it. So it was a good point for him to actually say that, because I hear this offline, but a lot of our black men are afraid to come to social media and say, and I won't, afraid is such a strong word, and I don't want to say that. I will say you guys are hesitant to admit that I'm looking for a long-term commitment. I'm looking for marriage. And that's why I like the passport bros, because, and like I explained with Jay, they're gone. Because and I don't think the black community understands how powerful this passport bro movement actually is. because this is one of the few movements that actually has legs. And what I mean by that, they found a solution and they put it into action. Typically in the Black community, we're all about marching. We're all about speaking loudly on somebody's platforms about things that we don't like, blaming the white man, so on and so forth. But the Passport Bro movement, among all the scrutiny that these guys have gotten over this past, 1 to 2 years, even though this movement has been going on for years, trust me, I've been in the military and I used to question why, out of my 20 years, I was like, why other Black men don't adopt this same mindset that military guys do, where they'll be stationed at a particular country and they'll just say, hey, I'm good here and I'm gonna stay. And they do that. And now I start to see that come to fruition. And I'm like, damn, man, these dudes actually put their plan into place. So no matter what the Black community says, they'll listen, they'll make their content, they'll stick their heads in to see what we're talking about, give you guys some advice on what they're seeing. And you know what? At the end of the day, they go back to their country where they're living. And no matter what anybody says in the Black community about them being undesirable, about them going over there trying to, manipulate those women and all that stuff. No, they're going over there for better lives. And they're also finding a better caliber of women for them. So there's a level of respect that the Black community has not given to the Passport Bros, and they should. Because if you were going to follow a blueprint in regards to putting a plan into place, I would advise the Black community to look towards the Passport Bros, because they've taken so many arrows in the back from the Black community. And then this is not and trust me, those brothers, they got it. You know what I'm saying? They can handle it, because it's gotten to a point where it's became funny to these guys. And they'll make their content and they'll go back and chill and do whatever they need to do with in the country that they're living in. So again, shout out to J Curve and shout out to The Real Deal for having that conversation, because I just want Black men to be open. Like, hey man, if I'm going to stay here, I would prefer to date Black women, but we need some things to change. So instead of sitting there making it seem like you're against partnering in relationships and marriage, be honest about it. And say it. Say like, hey man, I'm trying to marry Black women, but y'all got to change, some of these ways, because I'm not going overseas, or I would prefer to stay in the States. The Passport Bros, they ain't got time for all that. They ask the questions, they seen the market for what it's worth, and they like, I'm out. And that's why I respect the movement. I mean, you can agree or disagree with these brothers or not, but at the end of the day, they already gone. So asking them to support whatever interest that you have in regards to the Black community, I think that's done for those brothers, because they don't want nothing to do with y'all because of the way that y'all act. And I'm not just talking about Black women. I'm talking about Black men too. Black men disparage other Black men about going overseas. I see it. I've done videos on it. Of course I have. So moving forward, the only group that is separated from the Black community, in my opinion, is the Passport Bros, right? And people better start, understanding and noticing that, because you don't need all Black men. You just need a good amount, 5 to 10%, and that directly affects the dating market. And I think you guys are seeing that now, because one of the common responses that I see Black women say is that, well, we don't want those men anyway, or we aren't talking, if you don't meet our standards, and we aren't talking about your type of men. But then they'll go back on the dating market and they don't find the men that they're supposedly talking to. Maybe that was the Passport Bros and y'all ran them off. Because if you were talking to a particular group of Black men who are going to meet your standards of sending you $100 for lunch instead of $30, foolery like that, then they will be responding to you guys in the form of marriage. But they're not. So maybe y'all need to start focusing on the brothers who left and understanding, man, we don't want this to happen to the majority of Black men and all of them start going overseas. Now, I'm speaking directly to Black women, because y'all taking it too lightly and you playing and expecting white men to come save you. It's not going to happen. And you got guys like Dr. Umar going on Nick Cannon's show talking about Black men are the most interracially married per capita, and that is absolutely not true. We already know it's Asian women, white men, Hispanic women, white men. Y'all see what that says? And this is all from Pew Research and also from the Census Bureau. Today, the most common interracial pairing is one Hispanic spouse and one white spouse. This combination makes up 42% of interracial marriages today. Interracial and interethnic combinations. These are the most common. White and Hispanic couples, non-white mixed couples. Then you have white Asian and Asian couples. And at the very bottom, you have white and black couples at 11.9%. What percentage of Hispanics marry someone of a different race? Hispanics come in second as the most likely to marry outside of their ethnicity. 27% of Hispanics today are married to someone outside of their race. I put that one first for a reason. Who's the most? Do you think it's black people? In contrast, among white and Hispanic newlyweds, the shares who intermarry are similar for men and women. Some 12% of recently married white men and 10% of white women have a spouse of a different race or ethnicity. And among Hispanics, 26% of newly married men and 28% of women do. Y'all haven't heard them mention black people yet, right? Even though intermarriage has not been increasing for these two groups, they remain far more likely than black or white newlyweds to marry someone of a different race or ethnicity. About 3 in 10 Asian newlyweds, 29%, have a spouse of a different race or ethnicity. The same is true of 27% of Hispanics. But we still get this propaganda push like it's affecting black men, and also it's affecting passport bros. It's not. I know the go-to is, well, black women travel more than black men. That may be true, but what are y'all doing over there? These brothers staying. So if you talk about meaningful travel, that goes to the passport bros.
Imagine prisoners that have spent their entire lives chained deep inside a cave. They have been chained so that they cannot see behind themselves, and they are forced to stare endlessly at the cave wall in front of them. Behind them, a fire is burning, and between the prisoners and the fire is a raised walkway. Now imagine that each day, a menagerie of objects crosses the walkway. Animals, and people carrying their wares to market. Their shapes create an intricate shadow play on the wall in front of the prisoners. This is the only world that the prisoners have ever known. The shadows and the echoes of unseen objects. Now, imagine that a prisoner is released. After some time adjusting to the blinding light, the freed prisoner will begin to experience the world outside of the cave for the very first time. And it is like nothing he could have ever imagined. With his new perception of the world, the man will of course want to return to his friends to share his incredible discoveries. But the prisoners cannot recognize their old friend. He appears as all things do. His voice is a distorted echo, and his body is a grotesque shadow. They cannot understand his fantastic stories of the world outside of the cave. To them, it will never exist. This, of course, does not make the world outside of the cave any less real.
The guy, he came back to tell his friends, which represents the passport bros, like, hey man, I went to this different country. I had a better experience. The women are nice. They're peaceful. It's cheap to live over there. I'm safe. I'm telling y'all need to try this. But the guys who they consider the plantation bros, they only see the passport bros as a huge grotesque figure of a man, because they like to paint the passport bros as these predators and things like that. And they go over there to take advantage of women, so on and so forth. So their internal biases or jealousy won't let them hear what the passport bros are telling them. And the allegory, the example of the cave represents the states in the dating market. And the black community is not listening. In particular, the black men who say negative things about the passport bros. So if you're chained to ideology of a particular group and your ears are plugged, then what incentives do you have to even listen to those guys when they're trying to tell you you don't have to deal with these types of situations? All you got to do is come over here and you'll be good. We're telling you this, but they're not listening. So once he got freed, he got to go on his own way. He got to do what he needs to do. And I love that video as the example of the passport bros. Go back and watch it for yourself, guys. It's very powerful. It can be attributed to multiple things, but in my opinion, in today's modern black dating culture, that video is a prime example of the passport bro movement. And like I said, I commend those guys for doing what they did and actually putting the plan into action instead of just talking about it. It'll be different if they were just some guys online and they were, in their homes and just sitting there talking about, I'm gonna go overseas, trying to threaten the black community from leaving and never going. But that's not the case. I promise you. Most of those guys are either in that country or they've been to that country in the past 3 to 6 months. And they're probably planning on going back. I got another video. If my ninja watching black women are watching here, the more that the passport bros talk, the more appealing their lifestyle looks to other black men who had never considered going overseas. Because in the black community, and I did this video a while back, there was a guy on a panel show. He was like, why do the passport bros go overseas when they haven't been to all 50 states in the United States to find a woman? So you can't find one woman in all the 50 states, basically telling black men, if you can't find one in the state that you live in, you need to travel to all the other states first before you decide to go to a different country.
How much travel have you done in the United States? Have you been coast to coast? Each section of the country has its own personality. And inside of those personalities, you got different types of women. Have you done the same type of due diligence that you're doing overseas, stateside?
Yeah. So instead of going overseas first, go to all 50 states and find a woman there. Try and find a woman there. And if it still don't work, then you're okay to go overseas and find you a woman. Who was that just mentioned how it reflects negatively on black women? This video is kind of I won't say an eye-opener, because trust and believe, we as black men, we don't need white men to validate what we already knew. But I just felt that this video was important for black women to see, because they're under the impression that the only people who support the passport bro movement is other black men. And it's absolutely not the case. And I came across this video from this white guy. He came across a black woman who was talking bad or negatively about the women overseas. And I've warned black women before, you're making it bad on your sisters. The more that y'all talk about women overseas and how they're uneducated and don't have money and so on and so forth, you're making it bad for black women who are expats and black women who are digital nomads, because they've been traveling before all of this stuff became an issue for you guys in the States. So the more that you disparage the women overseas, then they're going to start looking at the black women who just simply want to travel, work, live life, live in different countries. They're going to start looking at them as, hey, are you associated with these black women that are calling us third world and broke and don't take showers and don't have clean drinking water? So y'all better stop it, because you're making the spot hot for black women who just travel and work And they've been doing it before y'all got pissed off at a movement for black men. So I'm telling you once again, y'all better chill. And also, if you're a black woman who wants to divest, you're literally making it tough, because now the white men that you want to divest to, they're starting to see the foolery in what y'all saying about black men and the women overseas. Don't believe me? Here we go.
Passport bros, and how American women view the women that end up going out with, or in fact marrying, the passport bros. And after seeing that, one of my followers sent me this video. And I have to say, I've been walking this earth for a little over 60 years, and I thought I'd seen pretty much everything. But boy, this one, well, let me show you.
All right. So like I said, he got a hold of this black woman's video, and everybody's starting to wake up. Like, man, hold on. Y'all doing too much. And I know black women, a lot of black women who have an affinity for white men, and y'all are trying to divest towards them, but they're starting to learn. And that doesn't look favorably on y'all, because white men rarely marry black women, even though that's the narrative. All the free promotion that black women are giving them.
Why is it that every time there's a mildly attractive white man on my timeline doing something mildly cool, like, I don't know, wearing pants that aren't ugly or having a haircut, and he posts, you know, a video of him on TikTok, there's swarms of black women in the comments talking about, do you like black women? Do you take sisters? Can I apply? Bitch, stand the fuck up. Bitch, stand the fuck up. Bitch, stand the fuck up. That is so embarrassing. That is literally so embarrassing. Please stop embarrassing yourself, and please stop embarrassing me by proxy. You should never be on the internet begging for a man to accept you and your race. But when I see this particular exchange happen, it just ignites a level in cringe that is so high that I have to say something about it.
They rarely marry y'all. 3%. And that's 3% of black women, not 3% of white men. Because white men, I mean, it's even lower than that. I think it's like a 0.0 something in comparison to Hispanic and Asian women who they typically marry when they marry outside of their race.
Now that I'm editing it, I want to throw in a quick note on this, that I have chopped her video up. I am not showing you the full 4 minutes that she did, but in no way am I altering what she has to say. If you do want to see her full video, you can find it pretty easily on TikTok. All right, now that I've covered that, let's hear the first part.
I am honestly so proud of the women today.
Did you happen to catch the caption she's got on that video? She's declaring passport bros to be the new slave owners.
Did y'all see that? And that's what I said. I'm telling you guys, the black community is trying to demonize the passport bros by calling them the new slave owners. And this is what her video is centered around. And the white man actually caught it. Let's continue.
Just wanted to point that out because it sets the tone for what's to come.
And they think that it's an insult to us that they have to run to third world countries to find women who are poverty stricken.
Third world countries? They're going to places like Thailand, the Philippines, Russia, Japan, and a host of other countries. I mean, if you think Japan's a third world country, well...
Women who ain't never seen $3 all lined up together in their life. Women who got to share one spoonful of rice with a family of 6.
Look, I know the American educational system is a shambles right now, but to actually believe that anyone that doesn't live in the United States lives in a third world country and survives on a single spoonful of rice among 6 people? I mean...
All right, and let me just say this before anybody comments this, or when I clip this video up, people are going to say, well, why you got this white man speaking on black issues? And the reason for that is because black women don't listen to black men who are educated and wear ties. They don't listen to me. I've said this multiple times. It didn't resonate, but for some odd reason, y'all don't have an issue with listening to a white man say it. So that's why I'm getting him to say it. So maybe it's sink into y'all heads, because you're not going to listen to me. You're not going to listen to black men who have podcasts, because we're supposed to be the enemy. However, if it's a white man saying the exact same thing that we've all been telling you guys, then it might sink in. So that's why I have this white man here to say the same things that a lot of black men have always been saying, because y'all don't listen to us. But you will listen to that white man because for some odd reason, his ice is colder. Yeah, that's why he's here. So if anybody has a problem with me bringing in this video and having him speak on black issues, there's your answer. Let's continue.
But the thing is, I get it. They have to think this way. They've been rejected by American men. They know they're going to be alone for the rest of their lives. And it's a harsh reality to face. So they're looking for ways to place the blame elsewhere so they don't have to deal with that reality. And what better way to do that than to claim that all passport bros are nothing more than slave owners and that the women that choose to be with them are nothing more than third world ignorant fools. Oh, what? You think that's a bit outlandish? Well,
women who don't have rights, who can't work, who probably only bathe once every 2 months.
She just said that these women only bathe every once or 2 months. Black women. And y'all know that this video is going to get played in other countries, right? Because this happened before. Shout out to the Daily Wrap-Up crew, where they had those black women on there talking about the Paso Bros and the women from Thailand. You know what happened? That video went directly to their national news. And they had the Daily Wrap-Up crew and those black women talking about Thai women. So this video is probably going to go viral. And she's going to represent black women. Is this what y'all want? Black women in the States? Y'all better smarten up. Let's continue.
I have no words.
Women who in their countries are getting raped by their men, beat up by their men. Nowhere around them do they feel safe. They're not protected.
Again, I have no words.
From a child up, they're raised to just accept how men treat them.
Oh, dear God. Has she ever met a woman from another country? I'm just saying.
Because they just don't have any rights. They're basically slaves. These women are in poverty. And these men be so broke in the United States, so ugly in the United States, so corny in the United States.
Jesus. So if these men are all of that, then why are you worried about them? What? This is a wild ass video.
All right, I'm going to end this here before I say something I really am going to regret and probably get banned for. I'm going to close with this. If you want to understand why men are going overseas, why they want nothing to do with American women, well, this mindset that she's displaying is the very reason why. There's no reason to deal with this mindset, and it's not going to change anytime soon. And that's why men are choosing to walk away from American women and pursue other options.
Man, that video was absolutely nuts from that woman. And I don't know. I mean, hopefully it just wasn't for clicks, likes, and views, because that video is going to get played.
Opportunity for them to go in search of spouses who they feel are going to be more.
Before we play this video, there's a, how should I put this? There's some similarities in the women that are on this video. See if y'all can catch it.
Subservient to them and do what they want, basically some sort of indentured servitude.
You feel that you need to go to Antarctica to marry a polar bear. Get a polar bear.
I'm going to just keep it real. And you think you're going to come in that country and you're going to take that bitch? I ain't protesting. I ain't protesting a goddamn thing. I mean, I ain't protesting shit to get you back to these United States. Stay your stupid ass over there.
I don't think black women care.
We do not care that we don't care. We literally don't. Like we care, we don't care. No one gives a fuck. Because we never cared about you to begin with. Let's be clear.
But I believe in y'all still. The ones that's doing the work anyway. We don't want you other ones anyway.
Because these dudes are weirdos.
Look,
I don't care.
Look, see? Look, a black dude. What is that your business? You dumbass? That's a man. Let's continue.
Hear about a weirdo, but I don't like them either.
We don't give one fuck. Not one ras. I keep telling y'all this. We don't care.
Yes, passport, bro. We don't care where you go. We don't care who you with. Look a horse if you care. We don't care.
She don't care, y'all. So this one right here saying that she don't care. So y'all can go ahead and scratch her off your list of dateable women. I know y'all hurt. I know y'all sad about that. But y'all gonna just have to chalk that one up to the game. She is not available to you guys. That's what she's saying. So I know y'all gonna go home, cry in the car or whatever, because you don't have access to this woman. And I'm sorry for that. You know, passport bros. Maybe you could find another woman in Brazil or something like that to maybe replace this woman right here, because she says she don't want y'all. So let's continue.
Anybody, we don't care. Look, we do not care that you are exiting the U.S.
You know why? Because we don't care.
Look, we don't care.
We do not care.
I don't know what's going on.
And women saying that they don't care about passport, bro. And I look at these women, and these women haven't had a man in years. Trust me, sis. Before you make these comments, you don't care about passport, bro. Did you look at yourself, really? Did you look in the mirror and see what you guys look like? Trust me, the passport bros are good. They don't really care. Your butt hurt. And by the looks of a lot of it, a lot of y'all let yourself go. And y'all just want the man to stand for anything. Trust me, sis. Passport bro don't care. They don't care. They're getting beautiful women across the seas.
Oh, child.
They don't care. And shout out to that woman at the end there. She basically said what we've been saying. This is what the password bros are up against. Well, not really, because they gone. So, so if these women don't care like they say, then show it. Stop talking about it, because they good. All right.